Hi everyone, I think I'm live. Not yet. Hi everyone, Paris here. I should be live. It says I'm 9 seconds in. I'm very blurry on the screen on my end, so I don't know how I'm looking on your end. How is everyone? Today is Thursday the 20th of January. I've not done a live. I know I don't do them very often. I haven't done a live indoors like this for a very long time. Hope everyone is well. It's very hot and lovely and sunny in Melbourne today. I had a quick half hour or so whilst I'm drinking my wild blueberry, raspberry and mango juice in coconut milk water. So I've got a bit of goss. So Philip comes home after, the shopping that I get him out to do every day. And he brings me the newspaper. He shows me the newspaper front page that today on Thursday in Victoria, that our sweet Premier Daniel Andrews has indirectly threatened Andrew Bogut, big basketballer, to shut his mouth and not to post things online that are possibly, again, indirectly going to affect the state elections and also the federal elections, of course. Now, Australia, in case you've been living under a rock, we're headed for federal elections sometime before May. And the sooner they do it, the better for them, because straight after that, then they're going to screw us even more, right? So we've got a couple of months of alleged personal freedoms and professional freedoms. After that, you watch what's going to happen. So this is what's happened. I've just written a list of what I have to tell you because I've got so much on my mind while I'm listening out for the parrots in case there's anything happening. So what they're doing is they're banning people of a higher economic level speaking out because they have the influence, the fans, and the money to be able to pursue legal action or projects or whatever with their money. And I'm thinking, why would they attack Andrew Bogut, if that's how you say his name? Sorry, Andrew, if that's a wrong pronunciation. Why would they attack him? Why haven't they said anything against the online freedom groups to that extent? Because they got Andrew on 3AW and in the media, right? Whereas for 2 years, you don't see mainstream media saying anything against all these other online freedom groups. From the fraud 99% groups, the fraud reignite democracy, the fraud Dundees, the fraud Yeminis, all these, they're all frauds. Why hasn't the mainstream media and why hasn't Daniel Andrews directly attacked these groups or said anything about these groups as he has done so with a footballer or as they have done with Novak? Why haven't the governments said anything against these independent freedom groups? Why? Because they are controlled opposition, friends. And one day, after 2 years, you still haven't gotten it, one day you will get it. One day you will get it. If you still can't get it, that after 2 years of protesting, posting, shouting, getting angry, and saying all sorts of things in the streets, online and all that, that nothing has changed for the better for us. If you still haven't realized that all these actions have not worked because the people who have promoted them and led these groups are all part of the government, hired from the government or from other organizations, right? Controlled as a distraction to distract our lives. 2 years later, like, I'm wondering how many years is it going to take for a lot of you to realize that all these bullshit people, 99.99999% of people who are online, are all lying and distracting us, thinking that the world's going to be a better place, thinking that all these doctors are speaking up, all these lawyers are speaking up in Australia, America, Europe and whatever. They're just talking blah, 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 blah. I don't see any of these lawyers or doctors going out on the streets and saying anything. It's all bullshit videos. It's all on videos. Why aren't they going out on the streets? Why aren't they, doctors setting up a protest? Not to be hiding amongst the protests, amongst the other protesters. Why aren't they setting up specific? Doctors set up specific protests. Lawyers set up specific protests. Why? Because that's not their intention. So, those of you who didn't have time to hear the news or see the news or whatever, and I said, Philip, why are you showing me this news? Because I would have seen it at some stage today. And I said, I hope you're not saying it to me to shut my mouth up, because you know that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Not going to shut my mouth up, and it's not going to shut up many other people's mouth either. This is what they're doing. They're trying to stop people with a fan base to speak out, right? This is exactly what's happened. Like I said, you didn't see Dan Andrews getting pissed off with all the other online influencers who have said worse things. I remember that bullshit artist Craig Cole, saying 2 years ago, and this is why Fanos and all them have deleted all their videos off online, so that you can't go back and fact check. Craig Cole said, "Oh, we know where Daniel Andrews lives," and he said it in a really ugly tone, right? Why didn't the cops turn up to his house saying, "Oh, you threatening Daniel Andrews"? No, but of course they can only bother with legitimate people who are speaking out, like Andrew Bogut, Novak, and other people. Right, this is one thing I'm crossing off my list. Anyway, you guys can let me know. You can Google it. It's in the news. It's on the 3AW. I've got the 3AW link here. I am just going to post this on here in my comments so you can see the link on 3AW. You can hear the interview. Mainstream media talks about all this stuff. They may not talk about the full story, but they still do. I've got to get some wild blueberry in my system. I'm a little stressed today, but in a good way stressed. You know, there's bad stress and good stress. Mercury's in retrograde. I've got my dates up here. 15th of January to February 5th. Now remember, we've got 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the shadow period. So until February 5th, try and be patient. We won't be. We'll be saying things that we'll regret later. A lot of people from our past will come back. So exes, ex-husbands, ex-wives, friends, relatives, colleagues, and all that who we haven't seen for a couple of years, a year or whatever, 6 months, a year, a couple of years, many years, they'll come back in our lives. You may want to send a letter to someone. You may want to ring someone up who you haven't spoken to for a long time. Okay, Mercury retrograde does that. It makes us emotional. It makes us sentimental. It makes us think about, reflect, review, reassess. That's what it's about. Are you happy with your job? Are you happy with your house? Are you happy with your partner? Don't make any rash decisions. If you're pissed off with your husband, well, you can tell him to fuck off, but try and hold back. Try and hold back and say, okay, what's not working in this relationship? Express, explain. If they don't understand, well, they'll never understand. There are people got no empathy on me. I'm living with one. There are people that just got no empathy. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn to have empathy. And then there's people out there who call themselves empaths. And why I'm laughing is I'm not laughing at these empaths. I'm laughing because the New Age industry has done an incredible, great job of fooling everyone to believe that empaths are a bit special and different to other people. The reality is, my dear empaths, because I've got such the same thing, right, is that you may have a level of empathy that your relatives, your partners, and others around you don't have. So you call yourself an empath because you hurt more and are more sensitive than others. Being an empath just means you got empathy. And there are different levels of empathy. Some people have empathy, right, for animals and nature, but they still can eat animals. Some people have empathy for animals, nature, and people, right, but they can still bash around people. Some people have empathy for animals, nature, and people, and they don't eat animals and they don't hurt people. Then there are people again who've got respect for animals, people, and nature, and they are rude as hell to other people. They may not eat animals, but they shit ass with other people. So there's different levels of empathy, so many different levels. You may care for your own kids and not give a shit about other people's kids. Like whether I have children or I adopt children or stepchildren makes a difference to me. I still see them as souls, as human beings. I still love them the same. Doesn't matter whether I give birth to someone or I adopt someone or stepkids. I still love them exactly the same. Makes absolutely no difference to me, right? So there's different levels of empathy. This term empath has fooled a lot of people and made people feel, oh shit, I'm an empath. I'm picking up energies from here, I'm picking up energies from there, I've got to protect myself, this and that. No, no. Being an empath just means that you have a type of level of empathy. That's all it means. And it's up to you to understand what level you are at and how you can best manage your life with the empathy that you have. And the more empathy we have and the deeper empathy we have, the more respect we will have for people who deserve our respect, not narcissists or psychopaths. The more empathy we have for animals, birds, and for nature. Like we call ourselves that we've got empathy, but yet we buy crystals which are raped from the earth. Because if you really look at the bottom of what crystals do to the earth, the crystals energize the earth. So all the crystals that are taken out, and there's a lot of them that are taken out, a lot of them. It's not like, thousands, hundreds of years ago when crystals were taken, they weren't mining them to the shithouse degree that they are now. Right, so these crystals need to energize the earth. Trees are working with the crystals, the roots underneath, right? And we're raping the shit out of the earth. So where's the empathy there? I'd rather have no crystals and have a level of empathy for nature, knowing that those crystals are doing their magic under the earth for me. And I can always telepathically connect with these crystals and ask for what I want. You don't need to have a crystal in your hand to do something. You can just imagine quartz, zeolite, not zeolite, I've forgotten the name now. Anything. You can just imagine it and say, and ask your angels, help me to get the energies of that crystal. Right? Okay. So, let's see what else I've got on my list here. So, Mercury retrograde is in. Be patient. Try and avoid signing car contracts, car purchases, house purchases, major electronic purchases. Having said all that, I've done a lot of those. You got to really, really check the contracts a million times because there will be mistakes in them. Whether we make the mistakes or whether the solicitors, lawyers, real estate agents or others, they will be making mistakes. They won't admit it, but they'll be making mistakes. And the vendors, you may sell a property for 2 million, but it's really worth 2.5. But because Mercury is in retrograde, you're in a hurry or whatever, and you just sell it. So you got to think a lot more during Mercury in retrograde. That's all I'm saying. You got to think a lot more during Mercury retrograde. And yet it is an incredible, incredible, incredible time for cleaning, filing, organizing our lives, and speaking out. Speak out. Mercury retrograde forces you to speak out. Right, okay. It's very important. Google Mercury retrograde. I don't have the link up at the moment. Cafe Astrology has got a great site. But you'll find a lot about Mercury retrograde. Be prepared for people from our past, people that you want to connect to from the past, and be careful of expensive purchases and contracts. Be very careful. Right, now, the other thing, friends, is today I hear the word healing a lot, right? Healing. What is healing? Healing is when an emotional aspect of ourselves or physical aspect of ourselves, physical of our body or an emotional or an external, something on the outside of us, needs to be fixed. That's all healing is fixing something. It's the funniest thing that for the past 100 years, so I can talk now because the birds are all having a bit of their siesta. So that's why you can't hear much of the birds in the background. I'm just going to be careful I don't wake them up. Past 100 years, they've been making so many types of medications for all sorts of ailments, physical ailments and emotional ailments, and yet people are still unhealed. People are still unhealed. No one is fixed. People out there say, I haven't had the flu, haven't had this, haven't had that. And I'm thinking, you don't even know what the flu is. We all have the flu in us. It's just waited to be activated. We all have the Epstein-Barr virus. We all have the herpes virus. Herpes virus, the kissing disease. Have you eaten out at a restaurant? Have you kissed someone? On the cheek, on the mouth, you've got herpes. Have you had sex with someone? You've got double herpes and double Epstein-Barr. And there's different types, many types of each type. And Epstein-Barr has been around for at least 100 years. Both of them from the Industrial Revolution, at least 100 years. Man-made viruses. Go and get a blood test. Ask for a blood test on Epstein-Barr and herpes. And especially get them when you're feeling a bit run down. Because they get activated when we're run down physically and emotionally. Most viruses are man-made. That's all I'll leave it to that. Most of them are man-made. If you want more information, Again, I don't have the link up at the moment. I should have had it up. Medical medium Anthony William discusses all the history and all the details about bugs, how they started and how they affect our bodies, and millions of us know about it. Millions of us, but there are millions who don't. And unfortunately, most people who are nurses in the medical industry have no freaking idea about bugs. No idea, because they haven't learnt this at school. They won't teach these things. Because if they taught us in schools that bugs have been man-made and spread out there in the community to make us sick so that pharmaceuticals can make their millions of dollars and the medicos can make millions, well, we'd be all pissed off, wouldn't we? It's not happening still now, and we're still not saying anything. Right. So how do you heal? You get to the bottom of where the bugs come from, and you work on foods plus vitamins. The foods won't work on their own. You got to also use the vitamins. They're not strong enough because they're not 100% pure. Even whatever you grow in your back garden, in your greenhouse, I don't care. It's not pure. Nothing is pure. You need the extra vitamins. Life is so toxic today. We are so stressed. It's so dirty. Everything on the planet is filthy. People are dirty. There is no infection control. There is no health. I can't believe it, friends, how even during lockdowns all across the world, they are still allowing people to use their bare hands to make breads, to make foods and sell them as takeaway or in restaurants. We should not be using our hands. They're the most dirtiest things on our body, even more so than our genitals, because we touch everything and everything is contaminated. And yet we buy foods, whether they're packaged or loose. You see on bench tops, in shops, foods are out there without any coverings on them. Everyone's breathing on them, spitting on them. Everything in the air is on the foods. And yet the governments and medicos are talking about bugs. When people are eating out, you're eating out, eating off a plate, eating from cutlery, plastic or stainless steel. I don't care what it is, they're all contaminated. They've been washed, they've been picked up with the staff's hands, put wherever they're put. Everything is dirty. And people don't realise that even in the house, I wear gloves. Because my hands are dirty. I touch this, I touch that. It's got nothing to do with the parrots. Animals are cleaner than people. People are filthy. Absolute filthy. Ladies' handbags, we carry them, we put them down in toilets, or we take them in toilets, even if you don't put them on the ground. Take them in toilets, the fumes in the public toilets, the fumes in the shopping centres, the fumes on the streets. And then we put our bag in our bedroom, on the carpet or whatever. We're transferring poisons. It's just like airport luggage. It's full of radiation. Planes are full of radiation. And then we get that airport luggage and we take it into our house. And we bring radiation in our house. And everything in our home is full of radiation. See, try and look at the big picture. Look up here. Look at the big picture. And look at how dirty everything is. Everything. That's why if you can sanitize and keep as much as you can inside your home, right, with your hands, with non-alcohol wipes, preferably, because the alcohol really screws your hands. Right, I mean, I use methyl. I've got antiseptics for the birds, for the mopping and all that. You can use vinegar. I don't eat vinegar anymore. You don't touch vinegar. It's terrible for your liver. It's terrible for the body. Right, you can put some vinegar in your mop and mop with the vinegar, for instance, or methyl, whatever you want, if you don't want the alcohol. Right, so if you really want to heal, it's vitamins plus fruit juices and good foods. And you'll say to me, well, Paris, I don't have fruit juices, I don't have vitamins, or I don't have much. I still drink my coffee, I still have my cigarettes, I'll have my glass of wine every night or whatever, and I'm fine. I can go out and do that. It's okay, come back to me in 5-10 years. If you're 20s and 30s, you're getting away with murder, absolute murder. I wish I had someone in my 20s to tell me about health. Don't smoke, Paris. Don't drink. Don't eat those shit foods. Don't eat all that stuff out there. I wish I had someone to tell me all these things. And if I do cook at home, sort of a lot of housewives, a lot of older generations, the women, not all of them were at home. A lot of them were working. The ones who were cooking at home, still using their hands. They've spread all the bugs to their kids, grandkids. It's continued. It's in the blood system. It's in the body. It's all spread. It's all spread. Right, so healing. Physical, emotional, and external. That's what healing is. Physical, emotional, and external. Now, I'm just being very brief on these topics because I've got to get back and give the children. It's 2:30 here in Melbourne. I've got to give them their afternoon tea. Now, karma. This topic of karma has troubled me for many years because for over 20 years I've been reading about karma and I'm thinking something's not quite right about karma. So you mean to tell me that all these people who are in all over the world, Australia, America, Europe, Africa, whichever, all the countries, who are poor, you mean to tell me that before they were born, this is what the New Age industry teaches people, that their followers, that before we are born, that we choose the life we want to live, that we choose the parents we want to live, and we choose how we want to die. Right. So you mean to tell me that these babies who were born chose to suffer from leukemia, chose to suffer from cancers, because leukemia is a type of cancer, chose to be raped, chose to have incest, to experience incest. You mean to tell me that these babies chose this? For what lesson? What lesson will a baby learn to have these atrocities upon them? Or not to have food, or not to be able to breathe? Can you believe that with everything that we know in 2022, there are still many people out there who believe that we chose as people and as babies to suffer like this? Well, let me tell you something, friends. Let me tell you something from a lot of research, a lot of personal experiences. Most of us have got a soul. Not all of us, because we're all different species. Right? I mean, obviously, you can tell who's got a soul and who hasn't. Actually, I should rephrase that. A lot of us have got good souls and a lot of us have got bad souls. Let me rephrase that. There's good souls and bad souls. Right. A soul is meant to be, a good soul is meant to be of love. Right? A good soul is meant to be of love. And a good soul is meant to be of a higher vibration. So why would a good high vibration soul want to suffer? What's the lesson in that? Excuse me, just bet for my wild blueberry juice. You can get wild blueberries in Victoria. If you want to know, just ask me by PM, private message. The reason why babies and children suffer is nothing to do with karma. That's not how karma works. It's because the parents don't feed them well. It's because the parents have not eaten well. It's because the parents have either taken drugs, alcohol, or lived in toxic environments and have passed that through their baby. It's because the parents' are toxic. The parents' the grandparents have got toxic shit in their blood system and it's gone through the generations. This is why the baby's suffering. And if the baby is suffering from sexual abuse and from incest, that's because the parents are not protecting the baby. The parents are not protecting the child from the abuser. This is why these things happen. We get sick, not because we're meant to get sick or we're meant to learn from anything, because you don't learn anything from being sick. I have been debilitating sick from 2006, and I have not learned anything other than now, the past couple of years I've learned, I've had to look after me, stop worrying about others, and look after my health more. You don't learn any life lessons. When I'm working all day and studying every night, all my life I've been studying, reading, researching and whatever, and I was putting my health aside and worrying and to help about everyone else. I was putting my life back. That's the only life lesson I've learned from being sick, is that I need to look after my health first and myself first and everyone else comes second. Well, the parents come first with me, but you know what I'm saying, right, with regards to people. That was my mistake, is that I listened, trusted, and believed my family, my partners, my boyfriends, society more, and all that. I had faith in them. I was naive. I had faith in them. I trusted them. I believed in them. I thought they knew more than me. Until I hit 50 and I realized this is fucking bullshit. They don't know shit. And that's when I started to pay attention to myself more. And I said, hang on, I've got to start having confidence in myself and believing in myself and having more faith in myself and believing that intuition and the instinct and the clairvoyance that I've had all my life. But my mummy told me at 20 to shut it. Right? And I shut it because I trusted my parents. And you believe your parents, you trust your parents, and you think they know what's best for me. They told me, trust your elders, and I did, and I got screwed literally from older men I was dating. I got abused, as in not treated right from grandparents and older people and whatever. And I'm thinking that is just ridiculous. You do not respect your elders. You respect elders who respect you back. If an older person does not respect you, you should not respect them back. Or what's the point? What's the point? Like, why? You see, this is the problem, is that not only do people have zero respect for people today, there's zero respect out there. Zero respect. You're very lucky to find anyone to respect you. You're very lucky to find someone to say thank you. You're very lucky to have a husband or a partner or a wife or someone to show gratitude to you and to commend you and to give you confidence and strength. You are so lucky if you've got someone like that in your life, because it is fucking rare. It is rare. It doesn't exist. So karma is not what the new age industry has taught us all. It's all a big lie. We are sick. You are sick because of what you are eating, what you are drinking, because of your environment. Your child is sick, whether it's autism, diabetes, this, that, because of what you've eaten, passed on, because of what your kids are eating. That's why your kids are sick. It has nothing to do with karma. It has nothing to do with new age shit. It is your free will choice of how you live and what you choose to put in your body, on your body, and around you. Everyone's getting tattoos. Do you even fucking know that you've got cadmium? You're putting cadmium in your bodies. Tattoos are one of the worst things you can do to your body. I never liked tattoos. I knew from a little child under 10 that writing on myself, right, ink, was toxic for me. I don't know how I learned that as an 8-10-year-old. Right, you do not, that is poison for the skin, because this is poison. You're not going to eat it. If you're not going to eat it, you don't put it on your skin. There's cadmium in a lot of the ink in tattoos, and yet everyone's getting tattoos all over their bodies. I'm thinking, seriously, you don't even research what you're putting on your skin? You don't even research it? If you don't research what you put on your skin as a tattoo, are you even looking at the ingredients of foods? So what if it's in the health section? So what if it's vegan? Most vegan stuff, 9 out of 10 vegan foods processed, they're all rubbish. Look at the ingredients in them, they're all crap. Look at the ice creams, look at the products and all that, they're absolute crap. I only get Panna ice cream, P-A-N-A, which is made here from an Aussie Greek guy in Richmond, in Melbourne, because I've looked at the ingredients and they're great. Doesn't upset my tummy, doesn't make me sick. I'm so sensitive, you could blow in my face from 1 meter, blow, and I'll get sick instantly, I'll drop. That's how sensitive I am. I'll know exactly who is sick around me. From 1 meter away, I've picked up your viruses, your bugs. I'll know exactly who is sick, and I'll know exactly who I've picked it up from, because I fall immediately. I crash. Physically, I crash. That's how sensitive I am. So I'm very careful. Like I'll even eat bread that Philip gets from great bakeries, and immediately that they just activate my glands. Everything goes off. I get really ill. I know how to get rid of it. I have my teas, my herbal teas, and it gets rid of it immediately. I know I have my thyme tea, my lemongrass. I've got at least 15 teas on standby, and I know, and I'm experimenting with my teas to find out what combinations work. Right? I've got the Don Quai at the moment. I've just bought Don Quai teas because I don't believe in menopause and all these things, all these titles. right? But past couple of years, I've been getting incredible night sweats and day sweats. And why am I getting these sweats? Whenever I get upset and I shout, I scream, or something happens, my sweats just go through the roof. Through the roof. So I've just started taking Don Quai, and it has really subsided them. That's me. It's really subsided. I've got the loose teas. I get them online. I get everything online. I hate shopping. I don't go shopping. I don't have time to go out. And it has really subsided the hot sweats and the flushes. And that is from stress. They say it's menopause. It's a load of bullshit. That's bullshit, because you can get sweats from 30. You're not menopausal at 30. I was getting symptoms of menopause from 30. The dizziness and all the other shit. Right from 30. It hits you more, of course, over 50, because a woman over 50 generally has got a lot more stress under her belt. You know, husbands, stress with kids, grandkids, maybe a divorce, no job, you know, because God forbid, and I don't use that word God often at all, God forbid a woman be over 40. You can't find, you're too old over 40 to find a partner. No, because you're 50, 60, 70-year-old men are all going after the 20 and 30-year-olds, right? Because, girls, I'm sorry to say, but when you're 20, 30, even 40, you're not thinking clear. I was there. We're not thinking clear. So then you get men that are 5, 10 years older, they know exactly how to get you around your finger. And then you hit 50 and you're thinking, hang on, I'm not the little girl I was when I was 40. You can't fuck with my head anymore. The men don't like it. Divorce. And they get the younger ones, and the cycle keeps going round and round. What do you think they get younger women for? Yeah, I've learned it too. They want someone to cook, clean, a nurse, and someone who won't talk back to them. And as soon as you start talking back to them from 48, 50, all men don't like that. Not all men are like this, but most of them are like this. It's not a men hating thing, but it's just a fact. It's just a fact. Men do not like women talking back to them, because this is how you women who are my age, in the 40s, in 50s, are teaching your young boys, your teenagers, and your boys to be. All over the world. You're spoiling the F out of them. Comedians are making fun out of all you mums. You're spoiling your boys. You're treating them like they're butter. Like, you know, oh, don't upset the boys. Don't upset them. And what happens is then they expect the women that they meet to treat them like kings, and they're not. Men do not. Men are not like that. It's women that are doing everything on this planet. And we know that. Anyway, that's another topic. So karma. You are ill. Your kids are ill. Your partner's ill, or whoever is ill. No, it's nothing to do with karma. People who are dying in nursing homes now, or who are dying in hospitals, it's not karma. That's because they don't have the proper treatment. They don't have the proper care. They're either dying on their own, they feel isolated. What's that got to do with karma? How is dying on your own or being sick of cancer or any other illnesses, how is that a lesson? What kind of lesson is that? That's not a lesson. That's a trauma. Anyway, that's karma. Next topic. Everyone is sick. Everyone I talk to, suddenly it's a fashion to say, oh, I've got COVID, my partner's got COVID, everyone's got COVID, we've all got COVID, we're sleeping in separate quarters because we've got COVID. Suddenly everyone is bragging that they've got COVID like it's a trend. Why is everyone saying, I mean, what? People aren't saying, oh, I've got herpes, he's got herpes, everyone's got herpes. You should be saying if you've got herpes, because it is so transmissible, it's not funny. Herpes is one of the causes of cancers and all the illnesses. Epstein-Barr virus. You don't hear people saying, oh, I've got Epstein-Barr, I've got Epstein-Barr, he's got Epstein-Barr, she's got Epstein-Barr. The hospitals are full of Epstein-Barr. No, you're not going to hear about that, is it? So why is suddenly everyone bragging that they've got COVID? I don't understand. And they've got it, and suddenly the symptoms go and they think they're okay. No, you got it for life. You have it for life. Epstein-Barr, we have it for life. Herpes virus, we have it for life. It doesn't go away. And you've it's transmissible through to your kids, your grandkids, and everyone. Like, we've passed it all on. Through sex, through kissing, through touching stuff and whatever. Touching doors, touching public transport, cars, everywhere. It's not transmissible. And suddenly now everyone's bragging that they've got COVID. It's the funniest thing. I can't believe it. Everyone is sick. 9 out of 10 people who I speak to tell me about the symptoms they have and they're sick. And if you're not sick now, but you will get. You think you're not sick. It's because you think you're not. See, I can look at people and I'll know what illness you have. I can see it in your eyes. I can see how weak you look in your eyes. I can see how tired you look in your face. I can see it in your body. I've been through a lot of health issues in my life for over 15 years. In fact, from 20. And I didn't know. I didn't know. It's only from 2017, after reading Anthony Williams' medical medium books, that I started to read about the history of health and the history of how bugs activate in our body and how they activate all these illnesses, but how eggs activate all the illnesses. Because they're used in laboratories, you see. They use eggs to propagate the viruses that they do research on in labs. So every time you have an egg, it's activating the viruses in your body. And really, I don't eat them, but if you've stopped eating them and then you go and eat it, you just want to throw it up because you realise after a while how disgusting they taste. Eggs actually taste disgusting. They actually taste disgusting. And I know, it's different if you're making me frittata and that. Still, it's disgusting. Occasionally, when Philip will get a cake and it's got egg in, and I can taste anything. And I can taste the egg, and I'll just throw it out because it just tastes disgusting. So everyone is sick. So if these vaccines that everyone has taken are meant to protect everyone, why is everyone sick? If 90% of the population in Australia has been vaccinated, why is everyone sick? I don't understand why the human brain can't think like that. Why is everyone ill if people are vaccinated? I don't know, is anyone thinking this, or is it just me that thinks like this? I don't understand. Okay, so I mentioned the medical medium Anthony William, and I suggest you check him out. Medical medium Anthony William, right? I'll put it here. I'll put the link on later. Medical medium Anthony William. And if you don't believe in clairvoyance and the mediums, well, you're on another planet, right? Because I'm a clairvoyant, I'm a medium, and I can confirm that it's true. If you believe about it, then you should know about Anthony William. If you know about health, believe about health. And even if you don't know much about mediums and clairvoyance, just look at what he says. It's not going to hurt you to read. See, the problem is that a lot of people are given information, are told information like I'm telling you. But you go, no, I don't believe in this healing shit. I don't believe in this medical medium shit and whatever. I don't want to know about it. Well, that's your loss. See, people would tell me things, even bad things, and I'll still research it because there's always something you can learn from anything. There's always something you can learn from anything. Always something. Now, friends, you know that practically every night I watch TV, right? I'm by myself. Philip goes to bed a bit earlier than me because I stay up till after midnight, whatever, doing my work, doing cleaning up, doing whatever I do. I've got the TV on. I need some human voices around. Right, so I flick the TV and I look if there's any interesting Foxtel shows. I like watching the news. And there's different news channels on Foxtel. Of course, I know if it trolls and don't give me this shit. I know what's going on. Makes no difference. It's the same shit as the online influencers. Right, I listen to what they've got to say and I translate it and I can interpret and forecast the information the way it suits me and how I want. So last night I was listening to the Bloomberg News from the US. Bloom, as in blooming, bloom flowers, Berg, B-R-G, right? The Bloomberg News. And they were saying that in America, they're installing a lot of 5G applications. And because they're putting a lot of these towers or whatever shit they're doing around all the airports, a lot of the planes had to be cancelled flying out of America and into America because the 5G was interrupting all the, the electronics of the planes. And I'm thinking, with my tiny female brain, if the 5G towers are affecting a plane that is a metal thing, a thing that has got incredible technology on it, if it is affecting the planes to such an extent that the planes cannot fly, What is it doing to the people, to our little soft little fluffy bodies around the 5G towers? This was on Bloomberg. You can even Google Bloomberg and you can subscribe for free and get all the emails and all the information, right? Get on mainstream media and they're telling us everything. They're telling us everything they are doing out there. They are telling us everything, good or bad. Now, some people don't interpret it as bad because some people don't care to have 5G. Some people don't care about it. Who gives a shit? They don't care. That's all right. That's fine. But some people don't like 5G. They're too sensitive. Like me, I'm very sensitive. I can't handle shit around me. I can't even handle people who are toxic around me. They upset me. I get very, very upset. Can't handle it, right? I need to detox from these people in my life. Half a century I put up with all this bullshit. From 50 onwards, I don't want to deal with all this toxic shit. So imagine if planes are affected from the 5G applications, imagine how babies, children, and people are affected. I'm just saying, it was on the Bloomberg News. I'm just saying. Right? Now, the other thing about Bloomberg and these other news sites that if you don't have Foxtel, you can still get them online, is that they talk about the economy. They're always talking about the economy. They're talking about inflation. I'll get to that. Talking about the stock market, the share market, same shit, right? And there's different types of share markets. You've got the S&P, Standard & Poor's. You've got the New York Stock Exchange, the Australian Stock Exchange, Japanese, all over the world. We've got stock exchanges. In case some people don't know, some of you are young, some of you don't know. We can't know everything, right? They're all the same. All they are, friends, is gambling tables. You've got a gambling table in Australia, in Japan, in America. There's 10 gambling tables here, a few gambling tables. And what these big boys do, because usually it's boys, right? Usually it's boys. Whatever they feel like in the morning, buy, sell these shares, put them up, put them down. Look, gold's going up, going down the next day. Up one day, down the next day. They're just playing, friends. They're just playing. It's no different to the normal gambling industry, which I absolutely despise. The casinos, the horse racing, the dog racing and all this. It's the same shit. It's the gambling industry. There is no real money there. When they say that, there's $1 trillion a day on the stock market or whatever, collectively, globally, or whatever, it is not, there really isn't 1 trillion there. It is just on paper. It's not there. Just like in the banks. The banks have all our money. No, they don't have our money. If, for instance, let's say, I'm just saying ANZ Bank, right? And, they've got all the customers and all the customers have their money. If everyone went to take their money out, one, they won't let you. Did you know that? You can't take your money out. Cash, you can't take it out. They won't let you. They won't let you take your money out. It's been like that for at least 10 years. At least. The money is not in there. They take the money and the banks put it in share markets, local, as in Australia, overseas. And they invest it so that they can make money from it. Because banks are just another gambling house. So what's happened is that the Australian government and the overseas governments, let's talk for Australia because I'm in Melbourne, Australian government has printed off so much money to give to a lot of you who weren't working, who were sick, giving grants to people because they're buying you for votes, right? They've printed off so much money, it's all fake. It's all fake. It's not real. The government did not earn this money from taxes or earn it from their private enterprises. Yes, governments have got private enterprises too. They didn't earn it. They printed it off to shut our mouths because the elections are coming up. The federal elections are coming up before May. So they've thrown money to us and thrown promises so that businesses all will believe that they're going to get this money. So what's going to happen is a lot of you with businesses, because I worked in business departments and government departments, I know this stuff. I'm not just speaking from feathers in my head. I worked in more places than most of you have. I've contracted in so many workplaces, you can't imagine where I've worked. Private sector, public sector, everywhere. From real estate to retail to fashion, anything you can imagine, right? They are promising to give you money and promising to give in grants. And then after the elections, they're going to say, well, we don't have money now. Because, friends, the reality is, from last year, if not from the year before, we're in high inflation. Inflation is how expensive life is. It's simple words. I'm not going to give you economic terms. Inflation is about how expensive life is. And it's not about how expensive an apple and oranges or houses or whatever. That adds to it. It's about everything. Everything is so expensive. When inflation goes up, interest rates. See, people are spending too much money because as expensive things are, people are still buying things. People are still going on holidays. People are still buying expensive cars, expensive houses. It's unbelievable. You come in the Montane Peninsula, everyone's on holidays. I haven't had one day off in 21 years. I had mortgages, I had rents, I had expenses, I had life. I was volunteering, I'm working. I'm now, rescuing birds. I haven't got time off. But there are people out there who can afford holidays, who can afford to go away. They can afford it. They're not saving. There's a difference. I might be saving. A lot of people are wasting their money, spending their money. So when shit hits the fan in a couple of months, they're not going to have any money because they've been spending it all out there. You got to know that. The problem is people aren't saving. People aren't investing in the right things. They buy rubbish. If you're going to buy things, buy something that's going to keep its value. Whether it's clothes, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whatever it is. It's got to maintain its value. If you're going to buy things that have got no value, what's the point? If you can get something for $50, a bracelet for $50, and get a silver or gold one for $50, get the silver or gold one, because that will have more value than the costume jewelry. It's the reality of it. You got to look at the value of things. So we are in the midst of inflation at the moment. You can Google it. You'll see America's already been hit bad. They're talking about it. They have not mentioned the inflation word in Australia yet publicly because we're going for elections. And the governments will never say that we have inflation before an election because people will panic and blame the governments. They're going to blame the Liberal government because we've got the Liberal government at the moment. So Liberal government don't want to say we're in inflation at the moment because then we're all going to say, well, it's your fault, Liberal government, because you got us in this freaking mess with your treasurer. So they're not going to mention that. A day after the elections, they'll mention it, but not before. So even if Liberal wins, they're still going to say, we're in an election now, so we've got to tighten the string. So what happens is interest rates are going to go up. Property prices will have to go down a bit because when interest rates go up, property prices, this is how it should work, go down. But people still have a lot of money. So the laws of economics, as we learnt it at university or in school and high school, whatever, don't apply anymore. Don't apply because we are living in a fake economy. What I mean by fake economy, the money is printed. Money is being printed. It's been printed for decades. It's nothing new. And it's been printed to appease the public, appease the voting public by giving grants to businesses. All big businesses get grants. There's not one big business who does not get a grant. They either get grants from the government, which is no interest, or they get bank loans. But all big businesses that you see advertised on TV all get government grants. I've worked in business development. This is my background. I know all about business. I mean, if I was a business mentor, I reckon I'd do really well. I just don't have time. I just don't have time to do everything. I can't do everything, right? Now, so Google inflation in America. Google inflation in Australia. Google inflation in Europe. All these things are happening, but they have been blinded by a scamdemic. The reality is that everyone is ill. That is not a lie. Everyone is ill, but they're not handling it ethically. They're not handling it and managing the situation ethically. Anyway, I won't get into the details of what I think of that in this video at the moment, right? Because I know where the bug came from, why it came, and what its plan is. But the problem is that it is blinding. They're purposely talking about the bug, so they don't talk about inflation, they don't talk about poverty, they don't talk about all these other issues, right? They're purposely doing that. They're purposely doing that. Why? So that, because talking about the economy, which is about our survival, is going to affect how we vote for them. And friends, we should not vote for anyone in government. No one. No one. We should cross out all the electoral forms and say we vote for no one. We want you all kicked out. Next, I did mention about crystals, didn't I? I talked about crystals, how we've been abusing crystals. Right? Okay, I mentioned the 5G. And in my opinion, you know, friends, I don't do following. I don't have a following and all that. That's not what my intention is. Excuse me. Must be burping from some fruit in here. I talk to you guys like mates, right? Like friends, because I can't socialise out there. I don't have time. We are controlled in our lives, in our personal lives, in our workplaces, in our governments, in the world, by psychopaths and narcissists. And yet nobody checks their heads. But yet if you are to do something different immediately, we've got to go and see a psychiatrist. Bullshit. I don't believe in medications. Talking about medications. Hello, is that you, Luca? Come here, Luca. Oh, she got scared of my scrunchie. Come here, Luca. Come here. Oh, that was Luca. Antibiotics are worth billions, and I put a post up on my profile page about antibiotics. The companies have actually forecasted, which means they have foreseen, they can see when you forecast, the billions and billions of dollars that they will be earning from antibiotics. How do they know? How do they know? Well, by people becoming ill and there's no remedy for healing people in the medical area, they know that people are going to get so sick. So they'll be shoving antibiotics down people's throats. Antibiotics activate bugs. I'll use that word bugs instead of the V word. They kill off the freaking liver and anything else in you. Antibiotics are terrible. Antibiotics are absolutely terrible. They cause a lot of problems. They may stop something temporarily. It's just like chemotherapy, radiation. Like, why would you want radiation? Because while you're killing off the bad cells, you're killing off the good cells as well. I can't understand that. Why you want to kill off your good cells as well? Like, why? All these medications that people on, how are they helping people? And what a shit world we live in, 2022, well, people feel they have to take medications to live. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I went through that path with my health issues. I had to take steroids, prednisolone, because of the shocking urticaria that I had, which I'd rather have cancer than the urticaria, the skin hives that I had. And no one in the hospital system knew how to help me. They didn't even know what it was. Philip just Googled it and found what it was. And since I've stopped soy, don't touch soy. I just stopped soy and it got rid of a lot of my symptoms. It got rid of perspirations. I hardly perspire the way I used to. It was bad. It was not bad, but don't touch soy. The tofus and all that, I don't touch them anymore. I don't have my hands, I know you can't see here, they're not as soft as they used to be because I have them in water all day. All day I have them in water. And they really hurt because I've got cuts everywhere and it stings with water. And all day I'm watching fruits and veggies all day with my hands. I don't have eczema. I use my hands to do things with soil and all that, even though I'm allergic to soil. I have my little mask, my little silk mask here. Where is it? In my pocket. Here's my little silk mask that I have. So that I got it from China. Silk, pure silk. A little silk mask that I have. So when I'm out in the soil, because I'm allergic, I can't handle the soil. It's shit in the soil. Right? I've got my hands everywhere, and yet I don't have eczema. When I wear gloves, certain gloves, because I've got petroleum in the gloves too, that brings out my eczema. So all these illnesses we have, your eczema, this and that's not karma. It's not food allergies like I was led to believe around 10 years ago when I was going to misinformed naturopaths and dietitians in Melbourne that I was going to, telling, oh, don't eat fruit, don't eat this, don't eat that. Well, excuse me, this is what saved my life. This has literally saved my life. because I'm still ill almost daily. But I've learned, it's taken me a couple of years now to learn what I need to eat and drink in order to help my health. And yet I'm on a lot of Facebook groups and they talk about health issues, you know, whether it's the fibromyalgia groups and the chronic fatigue, because I suffer terribly from that. I've actually, from 20, I've had that. And other health groups. And admin pin a post saying, no mention of Anthony William, medical medium. Why? He's actually telling you how to heal your problems. And everyone's saying, I'm on this drug, I'm on that drug. And I see medications, that is. And I saw on another, what was it, fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue group, saying, we get ivermectin or what's the other one that everyone's talking about now for the bug to take. Are you serious? Do you really think that these medications are getting rid of a bug in your body? You really think? And up until recently, what was it, 2 months ago, I had an online appointment, a phone appointment with another spiritual slash counselling slash health expert here in Melbourne, and to find out what I can do to try and avoid picking up getting worse from any of the bugs that are everywhere out there that everyone has, right? And she didn't tell me anything different that was that I haven't already learned in Anthony's books. And when I said, well, what about people who have had the injection, right? Philip's just washing the windows. What would you suggest to them to drink or eat so that they eliminate or minimize the side effects that they get from this? And you know what she said? She said, well, that's their choice. That's their choice, that's their lesson. That's their journey, that's their path. I'm thinking, you stupid fucking woman. Imagine going to someone to ask for healing and for help to better you, and they turn around and they tell you that's their choice. That's it. So my husband's in his 70s, right? As much as he gives me the shits, and as much as we're the complete opposite, I'll fucking jump over mountains and do anything to save his life and to help him, and to anything I can fucking possibly do to help his health, to help him. Absolutely anything I'll try. Causes me so much stress and shit, I know that, but I'm going to keep fucking trying until the end. Right? Until I possibly can. I'm not going to turn around and say, well, that's his path, his journey, I don't give a fucking shit. I mean, where is the ethics and the humanity in that? Where is the ethics and humanity in that? I can't believe that spiritual people and humane and spiritual and wise people would say something like that. That's your path, that's your journey. No, it's not your path. There's no such thing as a path. There's no such thing as your journey that it's set in stone. We have free will. We have free choice. I called my business My Free Will Journey 20 years ago because intuitively I felt we all have free will. And I'm right. I'm right. We have free will. No one can tell us what we should do with our bodies. No one can tell us what we should do with our loved ones. There's no path or decision set in stone of how it should be. Our astrology from birth gives us our strengths and our weaknesses. It doesn't tell us this is your path, this is your life, this is how you got to live. No. It gives us our strengths and our weaknesses. So once you establish your strengths and your weaknesses, then you can say, okay, it's my strength, I'll use that to live a more abundant and richer and better life. These are my weaknesses, I'll work on these. I'll work on these. Or if I don't like working on these, I'll find a partner who's got these strengths so we can balance one another like this. Right? But why not work on our weaknesses? Why not work on our weaknesses? It makes us a stronger, more intelligent, more high vibration person. So there's no such thing as You're meant to live that life that's your lesson, that's your path. That is the biggest load of bullshit. There's no such thing. We can change our path every freaking minute of the day. I mean, anyone who knows me, Philip will confirm this, that I change my mind very often. But once I make a firm decision, I make a firm decision. Because once I've collated all the evidence and all the proof that I need to make a decision, that's it for me. But, you know, someone might turn around and say that Paris, you know, orange looks good on that wall. Then if I see a picture, someone else says, well, if you do it purple, you can then, you know, sort of, it can look nicer for that reason, whatever. I'll say, okay, I'll do purple. I'm very flexible. Maybe because I'm a water sign. I've got a lot of water. I'm all water. All my horoscope is all water. Major Scorpio, major Pisces, a lot of water. But I've got a lot of Sagittarius. I've got a lot of other also traits in me also. But I'm flexible like that. And with life today, friends, you have to be flexible. If you don't have water in you, it's very hard. You're not flexible, you're fixated. I can see you washing my windows. Thank you. He's washing my windows. So friends, your life is not set in stone of how it should be. You are allowed to change it as often as you need it according to all the balls that come your way, all the tennis balls that come your way that you got to hit backwards and forwards. You can change your life accordingly. You don't have to be fixed in how you think or in how you work or what you do. You don't have to be fixed. If you're fixed, you're not going to learn anything different. Don't be afraid to read something that you don't understand. Like if you don't understand about clairvoyance or you don't understand about science or physics or whatever, don't be afraid. Google physics, Google something, research things. If you don't like business economics, Google Bloomberg or economies or something or whatever, the news, economic news, Google that, find out something. It will activate the left side of the brain. You'll activate the left side of the brain, which is more the rational and the thinking and all that, right? The right side is the spiritual creative and all that. Well, activate that. Once you activate that with that side and this side working together, you watch how things will be more fun. You'll be able to think of things more laterally, more open-minded. Things won't be so... You won't have that fear. You won't have that confusion. You won't know. You won't say, well, I can't calculate that. I can't work that out. Both sides of the brain have to work together. They have to work together. That's why a lot of artists who are not business-minded or, you know, they just want to paint all day, and that's fine. But that's not real. You need to live a human life. You need to live the other side of the life to survive. Well, they don't want to do it. The hire agents, gallery people who sell their art for them. You see? So if they don't want to do it, they hire someone else. But a lot of us can't hire people to do the work for us. So we've got to do it all ourselves. We've got to do a lot of stuff ourselves. We've got to juggle. And you juggle by activating the left and right brain. It's there. The left and right brain is there. If we don't use it, the cells stay dead. The brain cells stay dead because you're not using them. You're not using it. Example, friends. Example. If you're only walking on one leg and using a stick for the other, let's say just the right leg and your legs, I'll show you. If I'm standing like this and holding a crutch that's on this hand, so my left leg, you're seeing on the right side. If I'm only using this leg and not that, I'm not using the muscles in this leg. So they get dead. They die. Literally like they go kaput. Right? But if you're using muscles on both legs, then you can walk healthy on both legs. It's the same with the brain. It's no different. They're physical. The cells are physical. I had a bad fall yesterday. I fell in the dishwasher, my back's going. My whole body. The dishwasher drawer was open completely. Philip was right in front of me. He didn't freaking see it. And I fell bang on it when I went to walk backwards. He didn't see it. It's another topic. So we've got to exercise the left side and the right side in order for us to think rationally, logically, and to know what's going on. Do not get fooled by all this new age shit. You want to protect yourself? Just talk to angels. Talk to God. If you want to talk to a God, talk to God, right? Talk to angels. You talk to your angels, you talk to yourself, you have some time out, you ask yourself questions. Have mentors around you, people around you can trust. You can ask for advice, get advice from a friend, advice from a family member, advice from a colleague or someone, and get different aspects, different opinions, and then form your own opinion. But always get opinions from people who've experienced the problem that you have so they can give you insight into that problem. If you want advice about divorce, you ask people who've divorced. That will give you insight, different, because we all have different divorce experiences. I had a great divorce experience with my ex. We're still great mates. I have no issues. Other people had hell with their exes. Other people still having hell years after with their exes. Some people talk with their exes, some people don't. Everyone's got different experiences. Get advice. That's why they say when you want a plumbing job, get a couple of quotes, unless you have a great plumber, you trust them and you're always going to use them, right? Or an electrician or whatever. Get advice from people who've got the experiences. And I've got to say, friends, generally it's people who are over 50, 60, 70, who've got the life experiences. Not all of them. Not all of them. But generally, after 50, it's not that they just have the life experience. They have been able to interpret and translate and understand the experience they had. Just like, example, I may have separated 10 years ago, right, from my first marriage. But it's not until the past couple of years that I was able to put all the pieces together and figure out what I did right, what I did wrong, how I could have fixed the situation, and looked at the situation objectively. Right, because when we're younger, I'm telling you, when we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, we cannot think. We trust people too easy. We think life is easy. We think that we can control everything. We cannot control everything. We can control a lot, but we can't control everything because we don't have the information at our hands to be able to resolve a problem. See, that's a problem. So let's say you're in a relationship and right, I'm a female, so I'll talk about a male. And the guy's pissing you off for some reason, he's not responding to you. And you're thinking, what is it? Don't I look pretty enough? Aren't I sexy enough? Aren't I good in sex? Aren't I a good cook? Aren't I great company or whatever? So you ask yourself all these questions. It's natural. It's human nature. But if you speak to someone a bit older and experienced, and they'll tell you, well, this guy's either gaslighting you, this guy's a narcissist, this guy is having an affair with someone else, this guy's been a prick, this guy's trying to break you, he may be married and doesn't want to tell you. There's a lot of those. Go on the online dating sites. Most of them are married men, right? And the women don't know. This is why when you speak to someone older and is not judgmental of you personally, they can say, well, look, Mary, that might be that problem, that. So that way you can look at a picture, the situation in a bigger picture. Whereas when you just think of something yourself, you panic, you think, oh shit, it's me. Straight away. Women, we always blame ourselves. We're not pretty enough. It's the first thing we say. We have a problem with a man, we're not pretty enough. That's the first thing we say, not good enough. So what we do, we focus all our money, attention, and energy and efforts onto how we look to make the guy happy. And then he's still not happy. I mean, I've had women say, and a lot of women, not just one or two, say, oh, well, I'm sexy, I'm attractive, I'm nice. Why doesn't my husband pay attention to me? Because it's got nothing to do with looks. It's because you're assertive. It's because you're stronger. It's because you've got a brain. And a lot of men don't like that. They don't like that at any age. So if you want to be in a happy relationship, you're going to find someone who respects your brain, who respects you. If someone doesn't respect you from the start, you're going to find they're not going to respect you for years. I can speak from experience. It doesn't matter what you say or do, they're not going to respect you. And then there are men, right, who respect you from the start. They get you into marriage and whatever, and then they'll change. And they'll get, I mean, there's all sorts of situations. But as long as you've got confidence in yourself and you don't blame yourself if something goes wrong unless you did something wrong. If you did something wrong, obviously wrong, that's a different story. And the same situation goes for men, right? Change the situation. If men have issues with women who are being nasty with them, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that I talk about, men, because I'm a female, so I can sort of relate to it like that, and I talk about it like this. Anyway, I did say it was going to be quick. I think I've probably gone for an hour. Remember, Mercury's in retrograde. Think about all these things. Assess all these things. Think about your life. What is it you want in your life? Write it down, friends. Write it down. Write down what you want. Write down what you want. And beside it, write how are you going to go about getting it? How are you going to go about it? So you can manifest it, not only energetically, but action. You need action. We need action, friends. It's no point being hopeful if there is not the proper action. If you want a fashion job, you're not going to walk into a car mechanics business. If you want a fashion job, you got to go to the fashion houses. It's the same with what you want to do in life, whatever you want to do. Right? Where is the best place that has the best opportunity for you to achieve what it is you want to achieve? Where is the best place? It's not easy. It's not easy to find good quality people and services to do what you want. It's not easy at all. Anyway, having said all that, it's 3:30. Yep, I reckon it was around an hour. Okay, and Origin Gas just sent me a message and just reminded me that as of February, Origin Energy is going to raise its prices. They're all going to raise their prices. Everyone is raising their prices for all sorts of reasons. And all the shelves that are empty or whatever, there is plenty of stock out there. There is plenty of stock. But if people are panicking and over purchasing and then maybe selling in the black market, well, that's giving a different side of it, isn't it? If you look up logistics, which is transport systems and all that, all over the world, logistics companies, you will find for the past couple of years, the costs of logistics has gone up. China isn't making as many containers anymore, so the less containers, prices go up. There's a reason why prices also go up. There's a reason. Look, I'm getting deliveries from China easy. I have no problems from deliveries overseas or from most companies. I'm getting problems from companies like Ishka and Kmart and Target and whatever, who are Ishka hopeless. I won't buy anything from them anymore. Been shopping with them over 20 years, no more. It took them 3 months to send me stuff. I mean, that is just not on. 3 fucking months. I was buying a lot of couch covers. Like the cotton, the big cotton squares, because I put them on the couches for the birds, to protect the couches, and also in the bird room that I've shown you. You see, I have a lot of couch covers, and I cover a lot of stuff because the birds go on them and they chew things and whatever, right? Target and Kmart, I found when I order things, I get t-shirts like this and stuff and whatever. They get the stock from different stores, and it takes like 2-3 weeks. Shouldn't take that long. If they've got stuff in the warehouse or whatever, it just should not take that long. And they sending, one top from that store and one top from that store and one whatever from that store. I mean, that's all the cost, the postage cost for them. It's too expensive. They're not doing things right logistically. They're not doing things logistically. Not at all. And you watch, this year we can have a huge crash because the companies cannot keep up logistically, meaning financially also, with how they're doing things. You just can't have 100 stores around the country functioning like this. Financially, it doesn't work well. So there's only 2 things they can do. They can keep the stores, they're going to sack over 50% of their staff, or shut down a lot of the stores and set up big distribution centres where they'll be sending everything out online. Because realistically, that's the best way. That's why Amazon's the biggest retailer in the world. Because they have just a distribution centre, which is big warehouses with all the stock in, and they just send it out. That is the cheapest way. They've got less staff, and I know it's wrong thinking like this, but I've been involved in a lot of restructures, corporate restructures, when I was project coordinating. Right, I've been involved from the West Farmers and building companies and other companies, right? And the first thing you do is you sack staff, because that is the biggest expense, other than the building and all that you hire or you buy or whatever, is the staff. And this is what's going to happen. They're going to end up sacking a lot of staff slowly. And now they're using the bug as an excuse. They're going to be getting rid of a lot of staff. They're going to shut down a lot of bank, shopping centre, shops and all that. These are the big stores, right? And they're going to have just major distribution centres where all the stock, because economically, that is more viable. That's realistic. Economically, that's how things should be done, from a distribution centre, right? And they can still hire staff to find the stock, package it, post it off, and do whatever. This is where the companies are going to go now, because they will want to raise their profits even more, because there will only be a couple more years before people will have money in their pockets. You see, people will still have money in their pockets as long as their parents are dying in nursing homes or whatever. They get the inheritances, the houses. So my generation and probably the next generation may have a house, a unit, or whatever to live off. But life is going to be so expensive, it's going to be hard to survive. This is where the situation is whilst things are happening the way they are now. I'm not saying it has to happen, but the way things are happening now in life, this is where we're headed. If we don't want this to happen, it can easily change. But the way people are going, by not speaking up for their employment rights, their financial rights, and their freedom rights the right way, right? We're not doing it the right way. This is where we are headed, because this is where we are now. We're in inflation now. Economic problems. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a civil war is going to happen in America against the government. It's going to happen. They're saying it online. It's going to happen. If it happens, it's going to happen all over the world. All over the world, because people don't know how to deal with the governments who are not listening to them. The governments are not there, friends. You don't understand. The governments are not there to listen to us. The media is not there to tell us what we want to hear. Media is private companies. They're private companies. The government is a private company. They're private companies. I've got private businesses. I'm not here to do what you want me to do. I'm here to do what I want to do. So I don't understand why people want governments to do what they want them to do. Governments are there to do what they want to do, not what we want them to do. What they want to do. And when people start to realise that governments are private businesses, private enterprises, then they'll say, aha, I can't rely on the government to protect me. I can't rely on the government to give me this or to give me that. Because trust me, with all the handouts that Australians have gotten, did you really think that there wasn't going to be some kind of backlash? Like, nothing comes for free. Nothing is free. Even if you want love from someone, you've got to give love back. Love is not free. Oxygen is not free. If we don't have trees, we have no oxygen. We get oxygen from trees. Nothing is free. There is a price to pay for everything. And if governments are giving whatever to people, well, what do you... I mean, we've got to give that back. They are a business. As soon as people realise that government's a business, they're going to realise not to trust them the way they did before. Not to trust them. And now there are people out there who have followers who are speaking against, right, celebrities or whatever, speaking against the governments and all that, and the governments don't like it. Well, I'm sorry, we should be able to say whatever we want. Like I said at the start, if the online groups and the online influencers can say whatever they want to get away with it, why can't the rest of us say anything? Right? Anyway, friends, it's 3:37 here. I'm going to wish you all a fabulous Thursday afternoon. It's beautiful and sunny here in Melbourne. Hope I've given you some insight into what's happening here in Australia, into Melbourne, into my life, into maybe I've helped you with a couple of tips for your life. Have your wild blueberry juice. If you want to find out where I get it from Melbourne. Right, you can get it from every state of Australia. I've mixed it in here with some frozen raspberry mango that I got from the source. You can get it from the supermarkets or whatever. Have a great afternoon. High vibrations. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon. Bye, everyone.